So you got a quick rundown of the COINTELPRO 2.0 program. Let's go through the fundamentals of the program and help you better understand each element that builds the torture program. First and foremost, you got to understand how a corruption ecosystem works. Depending on where you live, this will vary, but we'll use San Diego, the location of my abuse, as a model. Corruption ecosystems usually overlap, just as most other companies, organizations, and networks. As you can see in the diagram, one hand shakes the other, and this is necessary for organized crime and underground economies to exist and survive. Going around the diagram, we have corrupt law enforcement, organized crime, like mafia and cartels. Let's talk about security government contractors, which, believe it or not, a substantial amount have jobs that would be a career for some, but serve one part of their quote unquote business in government. So someone could own a computer repair business as a cover business, but their real job in government is hacking audio and visual bugging skills. Or maybe a person works for a private spy company, has a military background, and their cover job is a nurse. You can guess what kind of opportunities a job in healthcare has for a security contractor. There's organized crime in the military, which is actually rampant, but an embarrassment to the armed services, so it's rarely talked about. These are criminals with military grade training in intel or field intel with access. Then there's con artist groups, which will be contracted out usually to find a mark and gain access to their personal life and effects, using a particular skill set to try to encourage a drug addiction or even just to cause continual conflict in your personal life while acting like your friends or love interest. These people are just actors, and you are just a job. Fraternal organizations is kind of a wild card, but not everyone who's got a hobby or is part of a local civic organization is Mother Teresa. Some of these groups, like city committees, women's groups, or even Masonic fraternities, have some high-ranking people who will be leveraged to spread false narratives about a COINTELPRO target, either through manipulation or a mutual agreement. Next is corrupt civil service organizations such as mental health, community clinics, city resource programs, and charity organizations. Let me repeat, not all people who participate in the harassment are nefarious. Some have been manipulated into cooperating by rumors or manipulated digital media to get people's cooperation. Let's talk about organized crime. First, it's important to talk about criminal cover jobs. A lot of people in organized crime get a job throughout the city in food service, automotive repair, stock rooms, grocery stores, medical clinics, pharmacies, banks, etc. This expands the reach of a criminal organization throughout a city and gives them access to resources that can be used to coordinate activity while maintaining plausible deniability. But ultimately, cover jobs give criminals a way to account for income that was obtained illegally, to not set off any alarms to the IRS or law enforcement about criminal activity. This criminal network in everyday consumer situations maintains a they're everywhere kind of mindset. Understanding how organized crime can overlap will help you not lose your mind. Organized crime is a large portion of COINTELPRO's boots on the ground. This allows the government to do things to you or even the privately hired security contractor to enact violence on you while keeping their hands clean. So when you get to the point throughout your COINTELPRO 2.0 torture, what you think everyone is trying to get you might actually just be that a federal law enforcement or government private contractor utilizing these overlapping corrupt networks or using civic groups participating under a false narrative. Lots of locals fall into the trap of thinking they are some sort of deputized citizen, taking out the trash. A lot of these local groups cling to false eviction causes because it gives their life a little excitement and meaning outside of the boring day to day. You'd be amazed how many people have a passive hero complex size hole in them, and uniformed social justice fills that void for them, and the actual truth about you will never fill that void. There's also a good chance an inside joke mentality is stirred up as a psychological hack to make your harassment fun for locals, and thereby they perversely associate your harassment as a game, further reinforcing the idea that you are less than them. It's actually a viral psychological warfare tactic that was born out of the Nazi oppression of Jews during the Second World War. Your best cause of action for these people is to confront them one by one as they act out this harassment. I would tell them, your actions are inspired by corrupt law enforcement and criminals. You are helping to smear an innocent person. I would then hand them a business card with your name on it and perhaps a website or special social media profile stating your case in like a short 2-minute or less video. So during your torture, for whatever reason it began, try not to cling to the idea that everyone is out to get you. People might just be misinformed, or it's just criminals being criminals. It's nothing personal. It's just business to them. But you will get to the point where you feel like everyone is trying to kill you or take you down. And that sounds dramatic, but it's basically just a few people starting fires and leveraging existing networks, getting cooperation through false narratives of concerned citizens, private security contractors with government access, and criminal organizations who don't care if you deserve it. They're getting paid. So, before you start thinking like the Illuminati is out to get you, you might have just been made unpopular while you were being purposefully distracted by other things. And it's lucrative for some involved. The only reversal for this is to campaign like you're running for office, but just to get your character restored.